do, and welcome to another thrilling episode of Talking Paranormal with the Old Man. And I am the Old Man. How y'all doing today? Memorial Day weekend. You can't really say happy Memorial Day weekend because it's not a happy event. It's, people that have passed in wars and stuff, and your family members, I guess. Doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be they were killed in combat. People go to graveyards to visit their family members too. So Memorial Day is not really happy, but Memorial Day weekend. So today, if my alphabetical order is correct, we're going to continue our journey on the United States, on the most haunted places. Today is Idaho. So I guess Ida is a hole. You get it? Idaho. Anyway, so today we're doing Idaho. And again, this is not a definite list. Where the hell is my cursor? There it is. It's not a definite list. It's not the only list. It's not, any list. It's just the randomly 6 haunted, I guess I should, so I'm doing Haunted Rooms Co. And this seems to be my go-to page now for haunted places. So this is off of Haunted Rooms Co. Ghost Hunts is what it says. So the 6 most haunted places in Idaho. So it starts out by saying Idaho is not a state that is particularly known for ghost stories. Yeah, because there's only 6 listed here. And hauntings. For some reason, it is often seen as a more wholesome state. That don't mean nothing compared to some of the other paranormal hotspots around the country. However, that doesn't mean that there are no ghost activity to be found. You just have to know where to look. Well, that's why we have a list, right? From creepy cemeteries to abandoned prisons, Haunted Idaho has a little bit of everything to offer. But there's only 6 listed. But we can do this. So the first one listed, again, no particular order, is the Canyon Hill Cemetery in Caldwell. When it comes to local ghost stories, there are always 1 or 2 that really stick in your mind, thanks to some of the unique details. In Idaho, one such story is that of a legless jogger who haunts Canyon Hill Cemetery. Now, how the hell? So apparently, if you are brave enough to drive up to the gates of the cemetery and park, that's important. There, around midnight, the apparition of a jogger with no legs floats up to the driver's side window and taps on the glass. Really, that sounds kind of like urban legend to me, but hey, whatever. I have not been there, right? Right. So number 2 is the Bates Motel. Okay, they do have a picture. I was going to say not the Bates Hotel in the movies, but the Bates Hotel. Well, but the picture they have is of the Bates Hotel in the, I think it's Universal backlot, because you can see the Psycho house on top of the hill there. So obviously they don't have a picture. They use a stock picture of the Bates Motel from Hollywood. Okay, this is in the Bates Hotel, or motel, is in, how do you say that? Corura d'Alene, Idaho. Originally, the Bates Motel in Corura d'Alene, Idaho, was officers' barracks, both before and during the Second World War. And that's kind of interesting. I think World War should be capitalized too, but beside the point. It was later sold and converted into a motel known as the Roadway Inn. Several years later, it was sold again, this time to Mr. Randy Bates, who renamed it. Can you guess what he renamed it? The Bates Motel, correct. This was long before the movie Psycho. See, I did have the reference. This was long before the movie Psycho was ever released. But the name certainly made it popular once the movie did come out. Well, yeah, no shit. It has actually been suggested that the author of Psycho, Robert Bloch, I think it's Bloch, stayed at the motel sometime in the 50s and kept note of the name. The now iconic Bates Motel sign was put up by a production crew in the 80s when a movie was filmed there and left behind when production wrapped. Now the real life, wait. The now iconic Bates Motel sign was put up by a production crew in the 80s. So are you telling me, so hold on. I'm curious. Yeah, okay, so the famous Bates Motel and Psycho House are not real, operational hotels. They are permanent movie sets constructed on the back lot of Universal Studios. Okay, so I don't understand this, and maybe you can help me out here in the comments, I guess. The now iconic Bates Motel sign was put up by a production crew in the 80s when a movie was filmed there and was left behind when production wrapped. Okay, so I'm assuming that, let me turn the fan on, get a little warm in here. So I am assuming that this motel was used for a movie sometime in the 80s, okay, then the sign was left, okay. Now the real life Bates Motel may not be as terrifying as the movie version, but it is still considered to be one of the most haunted places in Idaho. Both guests and employees say that there is a near constant paranormal activity at the hotel. The majority of the unexplained occurrences seem to be centered on rooms 1 and 3. Guests who are given those rooms often report getting the unsettling feeling of being watched. Oh, that's it? They also experience cold spots and strange noises, lights turning on and off, and ashtrays either being knocked off the tables or simply moved to a different spot when no one has been in the room. Because they don't want you to smoke. Smoking is a bad habit. That's what they're trying to tell you. Anyways, see, if you're gonna list something, list all the stuff. You know, don't list, oh, strange noises. You know, no details, people. I want details. The Shoshone Indian ice caves in Shoshone. The Shoshone Indian ice caves in Shoshone, Iowa. Okay, Idaho. When we think about haunted locations, it is a natural reaction to think only of buildings. Not necessarily. But when Gettysburg, I can't say nothing because I haven't gone to Pennsylvania yet, or gotten to Pennsylvania, as you were. But one of the most haunted places in Idaho is actually a cave. Yes, it is. Shoshone or Shoshone? I think it'd be Shoshone. Indian ice caves are a popular attraction for tourists visiting the area. However, long after the tourists have gone and the caves are closed up, there should be a comma there, it is said that employees hear phantom footsteps and hushed voices. Some have even suggested that it is the Indian princess Idaho? So I wonder if that's how they got Idaho, is from Idaho. Could be. Who haunts the cave since she was buried in the ice many decades ago. Well, okay, a decade is 10 years. Okay. So it would have to be many, many, many decades ago. How about a century? Because isn't a century 100 years? So I'm thinking it'd be more century than decades, but you know, whatever. Okay, the Auihi Plaza in Boise. Oh, that's kind of a cool looking hotel. The Auihi Plaza has been something of a landmark in Boise, Idaho since 1910. It has seen a large amount of renovation work over the years. Well, I would hope so, but it still remains mostly easy for me to say. But it still retains most of its regal and classic architecture. From the time it opened up in the 40s, the hotel was considered. Wait. Oh, okay. Okay, I thought they said from the 40s. I'm like, no, it opened in 1910. So how the hell? Okay, so from the time it opened up until the 1940s, that makes more sense. The hotel was considered something of a hotspot, especially a rooftop rooftop garden which features a hotel and a dance floor which often had live music. That's cool. Now offering office, retail, and living facilities, this one-time hotel is without a doubt one of the most haunted places in the state. Here we go. One of the most haunted, Florida, I think Florida has the record for that. The most haunted place in Florida, the most haunted hotel in Florida, the most haunted park in Florida. Past staff and guests alike have reported strange going-ons at the hotel, including a full-bodied apparition. Who is the full-bodied apparition? Seriously, tell us who the hell it is. One of the most, because this to me is people writing the story, not doing their homework. One of the most compelling reports comes from a couple who stayed in room number 136. The lady awoke during the night and saw a female spirit standing in the room. She said that she was not at all scared. In fact, she felt a sense of calm come over her. She asked the spirit who she was and what she wanted, but the ghostly woman simply faded away, which makes sense. She's not there for 20 questions. Other guests and staff have reported similar apparitions in various different parts of the hotel, and many people report the sensation that they are being watched or hearing strange, unexplained noises. Isn't that like the common thing? When you don't have shit to say about something, it's the feeling of being watched. Well, no shit. Anybody can get that feeling of being watched, but whatever. Number 5 is the brig at Farragut State Park in Farragut. I'm probably pronouncing this shit wrong. Farragut State Park is one of the most popular vacation spots in northern Idaho, thanks to its convenient location and fantastic amenities. Big word on a Sunday. But come nightfall, the campground known as the brig is not for the faint of heart. In fact, and here we go, it's one of the most haunted places in Idaho. The brig was originally a naval training center, and one time it also served as a military jail, also called the brig, by the way. It was built during the Second World War. See here they capitalized the Second World War. The first one was not capitalized. In response to the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the construction took 11 months and cost around $100 million. So, just out of curiosity, $100 million in 1940 money worth today. So, the equivalent, due to inflation, of course, and all that shit, $100 million in 40, not 1940, because that was, World War II. I just did a round number. It is equivalent in purchasing power to approximately $2.38 billion today. Whew. That's a lot of bucks, man. So if that was to be built, no, that can't be right, because 2.38 billion. I don't think that's right. But anyways, it cost a lot of money back then, yeah, and that was a lot of money back then. In terms of history, the brig has been the site of at least one homicide. Well, no shit, it's been around since 10. God, so what, 125 years? There's only been one homicide? At least one homicide? No shit. There are also at least one suicide here during World War II. When Farragut was a military base, it would have been home to around 300,000 men. It is not clear who or what actually haunts the brig, but most witnesses do agree that the apparition seems to be in some kind of uniform, although there is debate as to whether this is a military uniform or a prison garb. Because remember, it was a prison too. Both of which would be plausible for the building. It could be that the sightings are two or more different apparitions. The visitors, campers, and staff over the years have all described the apparition in detail, saying that, what did he say? I got distracted for a second. He almost seems to be a real living person, apart from the fact that he can vanish into thin air and often slightly transparent. Aside from the apparition, there are also reports, of being watched? No. of objects flying across the old cells, the large, heavy objects being relocated when nobody has been in the building. Sounds like the ideal spot to go camping, right? Yeah, no shit. I would go in a heartbeat, man. It's the Old Idaho State Penitentiary in Boise. Everyone knows that prisons are nearly always a magnet for paranormal activity, thanks to the melting pot of emotions, yep, that soak into the walls of these buildings. Ohio State, Old Idaho State Penitentiary is no different, and it has long been considered one of the most, ready for this, haunted prisons in the U.S. The prison was established back in 1870 as a one-cell house, but it very quickly began to grow into the complex of buildings enclosed by a thick wall of sandstone. In fact, part of the prisoners' sentences was mining the rock to build the very walls to keep them in. Can you imagine that shit? You're a prisoner. You have to build you have to go out and dig the freaking rock to build the walls that keep you in the prison. I mean, talking about adding insult to injury. Jeez, oh Pete. Ooh, that's pretty good. I think I need to have a sponsor. Olipop. I'm drinking Ridge Rush, which is a new kind of soda. It's a prebiotics, botanical plant fiber. Supports the digestive health. Well, I have no issues with that. Yeah, so this episode, and I'm kidding here, I do not have a sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Olipop. Yum. It is actually pretty good. Okay, and again, I'm kidding. I do not have a sponsor, so yeah, I'm kidding. Over 10,000 convicts have passed through the prison over the course of a century, and it seems that not all of them left. There have been several deaths on the premises. Well, no shit. Including 10 executions and 110 documented deaths due to illness, murder, and plain old age. Well, yeah, if you're sentenced to life in prison, you're gonna die in prison, and I think that falls under the classification plain old age. However, and this isn't me saying this is the article. However, the conditions in this prison were horrific, with inmates being subjected to inhumane treatment, so it would not be surprising if the death toll was actually much higher, and those deaths were simply not documented. Well, yeah, they were hidden, man. Due to the are we gonna get into who the shit people that was haunting this place? Due to the design of the prison, the cells were unbearably hot in the summer and freezing cold in the winter. Well, yeah. Plus, there was no indoor plumbing. Oh man, can you imagine? So as you might imagine, there was a great deal of misery and suffering, which has definitely left a mark on the prison. Can you imagine the smell? It's 110 degrees, and people are taking craps, I am assuming, in pails and stuff, and buckets. Man, holy shit. There are a number of documented paranormal events here we go, that have happened in the old Idaho State Penitentiary. The most haunted spot is said to be Five House, or the Idaho's answer to Jack the Ripper. Raymond Allen Snowden, I remember that dude, hold on, was executed there in 1957. That name sounds really, wait a minute. That name sounds really freaking familiar. Let me search this dude, because he sounds familiar. I have heard his name before, other than just here. It might have been one of these paranormal shows and shit that I remember. I believe. He was 35, dude. So October 18th of I'm sorry. Raymond Allen, and I'm not by any stretch glorifying this dude, but I'm just curious, was an American man who was convicted of the 1956 murder of Cora Lucille Dean and executed in Idaho. Okay, so so Snowden was noteworthy for being the last person executed in the state before 72 Furman versus Georgia decision by the United States Supreme Court led to a nationwide death penalty moratorium. Okay, so I mean, yeah, so he was executed by hanging. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm just curious. I'm just curious, but it just seems kind of okay. Again, I'm not making light of that he killed somebody, but he only killed one person. I for some reason I thought he was a serial killer. For some reason I don't know why. Okay. It is believed that the murderer's soul is still haunting the prison and grounds, and he has done even what the fuck? It is believed that the murderer's soul is still haunting the prison and grounds, and he has done even what? This doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. I keep on reading this, but this does not make sense. Am I missing something? It is believed that the murderer's soul. I'm going to read it slow because I'm missing something here. It is believed that the murderer's soul is still haunting the prison and grounds. Okay. Oh, and he has done even before the. Okay, it should have been. It should. Okay, it should say and grounds, and he has. So. No, I'm sorry. And grounds, and he has done so even before the prison closed in the 70s. See, they left out a very important word there. So, and grounds, and he has done even before the prison closed. It should say, and that's what tripped me. But that don't make sense. What it should have said is, and grounds, and he has done so even before the prison closed in the 70s. Who edits this shit? Seriously, dudes, I can do I don't have any grandkids. Our kids don't have kids, but if I had a grandson, like a 2-year-old, he could edit better than this. Come on, Haunted Rooms Comp, you're disappointing me. Reports of his presence has been made by visitors, staff, and prisoners alike. Okay, so it must be when it was a working prison, the prisoners still saw him. Whenever he draws near, the living is said to be overcome by a feeling of dread and oppression. Okay, Snowden is by no means the only spirit at Old Idaho State Penitentiary. It is a fairly common occurrence for visitors to hear phantom footsteps echoing throughout the halls, and disembodied voices are also heard fairly regularly. Visitors participating in the regular walking tours of the old prison have also been touched and even pushed by unseen hands. Well, yeah, no shit. You're in their house. You are in their house. There is a very strong feeling of being watched from the shadows, and several shadow figures have also been spotted in a number of places around the prisons. Okay, kind of cool. Now they do have haunted hotels in Idaho. Do I want to go there or do I want to go here? Okay, I talked about that one. Okay, let's. This don't give me shit. I was going to look at this other place here, but well, you know what? Maybe let's. Let's in the film industry, this is called a B-roll. I'm just going to do a B-roll here of other places. This is from the site, the Mandagees website. It's haunted, the most haunted places in Idaho. I've talked about that. Haunted mansions, that don't give you shit, so we're gonna skip that one. Spirit Lake. Okay, let's look at Spirit Lake. This is okay, so found. Okay, here we go. I was trying to find. It doesn't say where it's at. Anyways, however, concealed within its deep water, Spirit Lake holds a secret of its eerie past. Spirit Lake is one of the 2 lakes in the world. Ooh, wait. Is one of the 2 lakes in the world that have a completely sealed bottom, meaning no water escapes, making it a perfect location to trap souls. Okay, what? Okay, see, inquiring minds want to know, and I have never heard that before. What the hell is that? Okay, so Spirit Lake in Idaho is reputedly one of the only 2 lakes in the world with a sealed bottom. often referenced locally as a unique geological feature. The lake features a natural, impervious clay-sealed bottom, which acts as a barrier separating its waters from the surrounding hydrological system. Really? I didn't know that was even a thing. See? 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 Okay, so here, oh, I'm not even going to try to say that. Okay, while some local lore claims it's only one of two in the world, this phrasing is often used in regional marketing. Well, yeah, no shit. The other lakes, like actually, I wasn't too bad. Subglacial Lake Vostok are sealed by different mechanisms, ice. See, not only do you hear about the paranormal on my podcast here, but you also learn new stuff. Did you know, because I didn't know, that what a completely sealed bottom is of a lake? And see, here you go. You learn something new every day. It might be useless, but you still learn something new every day. And I still keep on looking at my camera thinking this is my YouTube channels. What an idiot. Duh, dude. You're not doing video, you're doing audio. Jeez, oh Beats. Okay, so local legend has it that two people in the Kutaya tribe were trapped in a case of forbidden love. Because of this, the couple vowed eternal love, drowned themselves in the lake, dying together rather than living a life apart. Oh, okay. The Kutanya tribe renamed the lake from Clear Lake to Tasmini, or Lake of Spirits, after this event. Wait a minute. So the supposedly lovers have not been found among the lake. People say their phantoms can be seen on moonlit nights drifting across the misty lake in a canoe. Okay, Idaho Hotel. Did we talk about that? I don't think we did. No, this is in Silver City, Idaho. Is now the oldest running hotel in Idaho. Ooh, 1800s. Ooh. From the testimonies of the thousands of guests who stayed in the hotel, the Idaho Hotel, it is no secret that it is one of the most haunted places or hotels in Idaho. Since the time when many people were coming through the mining town to strike it rich, there have been tons of eerie sightings and happenings at the Idaho Hotel. See, this is what I'm talking about right here, what I'm about ready to read. Give me details. Many guests of the Idaho Hotel, try to say that fast, Idaho Hotel, have felt unexplainable sensations in room 27, where a past owner committed suicide. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Seeing an old man in a duster coat wandering around. I think a duster coat is kind of like a trench coat, I believe. And young children in old-fashioned clothing playing in the street. And experienced the mysterious flickering of lights throughout the hotel. Well, it's an old hotel. The flickering of lights might be electrical. I'm just saying. There was even a shootout between two men in front of the Idaho Hotel. You kind of got to say that slow, because otherwise, Idaho Hotel. Yeah. Some people say their spirits still roam the building. Yeah, want to test your luck at this haunted hotel? Make a reservation. Hell yeah. Owie. I have an Owie. Owie. Oh my God. Owie Mountains. Located in or near Murphy, Idaho, the Owie Mountains. I have an Owie. Are some of the most remote and isolated places in Idaho. We all know paranormal activity flourishes in these type of places, which is true. And the Owie, I have an Owie. Oh, yeah, okay. I was trying to think. I'm saying Owie. I have an Owie. And I'm trying to think who the hell. I'm thinking, it sounds familiar. Elmer Fudd. I'm talking like Elmer Fudd. You know, from the cartoons. Shh. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wobbits. Owie. Just say Owie. Mountains are no exception. I know. I'm a dork. I know, but Owie. Elmer Fudd. Okay. Many who visit the Owie Mountains, I have an Owie, especially at night. I amuse myself too freaking easy. Experience strange happenings among the volcanic terrain. According to Shoshone and Bannock legend, The I have an mountains were home to strong and vicious cannibalistic dwarfs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So sometimes you read stuff, and it just it just makes you fucking laugh. Vicious cannibalistic dwarfs that stand 2 feet tall with long tails and that wrap around their bodies to hide their appearances. Okay, wouldn't you think that if you have 2 feet dwarfs that are coming at you that are cannibalistics, I would hope that you could get away from them fairly easily. Yeah, okay, let's just leave it at that. Oh my goodness. Oh God. Oh good. Okay. Some Idaho booming. Oh God. Oh, I have to stop for a second. Oh my God. Okay. Since Idaho was booming in mining operations in the 1800s, many settlers did not heed the Native American people's warning to avoid areas within the Owie, and their children frequently went missing when the dwarfs would lure them into the woods. Those freaking dwarfs again, man! And the unless there is a rock band from the 80s, 90s, I think that they might still be around, called the Killer Dwarfs. So I guess the cannibalistic dwarfs could technically be killer dwarfs, but oh my God. Okay, haunted walking tours. Sometimes, let's see. Sometimes ghosts don't just appear for you, but must be found. Yes, which is why haunted walking tours. I might not be able to get through this. In Idaho Falls, I'm still thinking about those cannibalistic dwarfs. Are a popular activity during the time of Halloween. I would assume they are. Ghost walks provide you with opportunities to experience hauntings yourself. Walk through ghost alleys and other haunted locations located in Idaho Falls. The Stricter Ranch Rock Creek Station. In 1865, the Stricter Ranch, also known as Rock Creek Station, was a common stop for weary Oregon Trail travelers. Since the Oregon Trail wasn't an easy journey, many people died along the way. Well, yeah, no shit. Remember, you have died of dysentery? Yeah, okay. The Stricter Family Ranch was a host for a lot of the last-minute burials. Oh shit, of those unlucky travelers. The spirits of those who died in this area now haunt the location and become especially agitated at night. So today, the Idaho State Historic Society preserves remnants of the Stricter Ranch. Yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, I'm not going to read this scary one because that's like fake stuff. Mesa Falls. Let's skip that one. How about this one? Idaho State Tuberculosis. Oh my God. Tuberculosis, there we go, hospital. See that? Oh, that looks cool. The Idaho State Tuberculosis Hospital, I'm probably saying that wrong, now known as Gooding University Inn and Resort. Oh man. You can stay in a TB hospital. Holy shit. Is a haven for, I'm there, is a haven for paranormal activity. The building was originally a hospital specifically for patients suffering or dying from tuberculosis, TB. And I know I'm saying I just can't say it. Though many locals suspect that it became a mental institution when the hospital closed its doors. Among many other supernatural experiences in the building, visitors and staff of the Idaho State TB Hospital, for short, I can say that better, have seen full-bodied apparitions, shadowy figures, voices in rooms with nobody in them, doors banging and random knockings. If you're brave enough to visit this haunted hospital in Idaho, you can go on a ghost hunt and even stay overnight. Oh, frig yeah, dude, I'm there. Okay, so then we have The brig, I've already said that. I already covered that. Oh, here was the Haunted Mill. Ooh, yeah, located in Teton, Idaho. Isn't that the Teton Mountains? The Haunted Mill gives off super chilling vibes. I hate that word super. Like, oh, it is super chilling. Just say it's chilling, dude. Originally in the 1900s, early, the Haunted Mill was a flour mill and culinary water supply for the nearby town of Teton. Since it became open to the public in the late 90s, I'm assuming 1990s, I assume, it has been a haunted touring attraction that is extremely popular in eastern Idaho in October. Well, yeah, during your tour, expect to see original mill grounds, including the original log granary and underground mine, maze, water fill, and suspension bridge. Don't be shocked if you see monsters or creatures. Oh God, during this show or the tour or experiencing the terrifying beings. Oh my God, it sounds like the most haunted Halloween ones. Okay. This one here, I don't know how to say this. This is Lake Quarry Corridor d'Arlene. Many visitors and local Idahoans adore the beautiful Lake Corridor d'Arlene, which is the second largest lake in Idaho. Many people go to that lake for boating, swimming, or hiking and biking on popular trails. However, the lake is supposedly haunted by a fish woman. What? Who churns up water and scares visitors. Local residents and visitors of that lake, I'm not going to try to say it no more, share experiences of unexplainable noises and the figure of a fish woman emerging near a large pointed rock in the lake. Turbulent winds sometimes agitates the water, usually calm waters, and huge horrific creatures appear, occasionally lifting boats out of the water. Yeah, it's called the waves. Is this Idaho myth true? I don't think it is. Ooh, that's cool. The Idaho Hotel. That looks cool. The historic, it looks like a freaking castle. I would stay there too. The historic Idaho Hotel in Boise was built in 1900 to accommodate the booming town. It was originally used to house the state's influential people and other important travelers. Yeah, I can see that. It's not for the common Joe. The Idaho Hotel symbolized Western expansion and was frequented by those traveling by the Transcontinental Railroad. Despite its hopeful beginning, the Idaho Hotel has had mysterious stories since the start, especially during its construction when workers reported strange activity. Specifically, the Idaho Hotel's bellman was gunned down at the hotel. It is said that his ghost moves the elevator up and down by itself. Well, they're still doing this job, man. Residents, you can stay there now? It's like a paid weekly shit? Residents of the Idaho Hotel have also mentioned spotting the bellman's ghost around the building and eerie instances of lights turning on and off. So that can be explained. Even freakier, freakier. Thank God it didn't say super freakier. A spirit of the woman who was murdered and buried in the Idaho Hotel's basement supposedly lingers in the lower levels of the building. If you got the guts to stay at the Idaho Hotel, which is now an apartment building. Oh, okay, so it's now an apartment building, but still freaking cool. Be prepared for strange encounters. Okay, the Bates Motel, I've already talked about that one. Oh, that's kind of cool. They have a picture. Remember that the thing and they have souvenirs, man. They got T-shirts and hats. But do you remember when I talked about the Bates Motel? And remember they said that there was a sign that was put up. Well, here's a picture of the above said sign, and it does have the house up on top. If I can save this, I will add this to the Facebook page, Talking Paranormal with the Old Man. Yeah. So yeah, I'll post that there, if I can. Okay, so that's basically it. So they do have a list of ghost towns, if that's your thing. So I think that's it. I think that's it for Haunted Idaho. Again, this is not a definitive list, not the only list, not the most important list. It's just a list. If you live in Idaho or have been to any of these locations, let me know if you've experienced anything. because I am curious. I do have a YouTube uh, channel, reaction channel, Talking Paranormal with the Old Man, where I do reaction videos to the paranormal. Surprise, surprise. And I'm going to start cross advertising myself. I also have a YouTube reaction channel called Musical Chairs, where I do music. Surprise! And I take suggestions, and yeah, I've been doing it for about 2.5 months now, and I like it. It's fun. So yeah, if you're into music and you want to hear honest reaction, I'm looking at the Bates Motel. That looks like something could be in the window, but I think it's a reflection from the color. Go over and give it a shot. It's like I said, Musical Chairs, reaction video on YouTube to music, and Talking Paranormal with the Old Man, video reactions to paranormal. But I did have one on Wednesday, I think it was, or yeah, Wednesday. I did do one for a Bath, a little summary on Bath, of what happened in Bath in 27, the school bombing. So yeah, so again, our group is the Southeast Michigan Ghost Hunter Society. We are going to Randolph County Asylum in July for an overnight investigation. We got some new equipment that we're going to be taking with us, so we'll see if we get anything interesting. We should. I've seen some YouTube videos on some of others investigating it, and of course, again, you can't just flip a switch and have stuff happen. It's literally a crapshoot, and if you get stuff, you do. If you don't, you don't. And just because you don't does not mean it's not haunted. So, with that being said, you have to be more afraid of the living, yeah, don't you know it, than you do of the dead. Stay away from the light, unless that's your thing. And if that's your thing, knock yourself out, bud. And be kind to each other. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Is be kind to each other, because you don't know what someone is going through. They might be holding shit in, and if you being a jerk to them, can just let that stuff flow out, and you don't want that. So, again, thank you for listening. I'll be here again in 1 week. And I'm sure some people are saying, oh God, he's back. I love talking about the paranormal. I like this tour of the United States thing that I'm doing. I'm glad that I decided to do it, because I like it a lot. So again, thank you for listening, and we will see you in a week. And until we meet again next week, bye-bye.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye.